Jesus Revolution is the latest faith-based film. Let's see if this new movie is worth your time. Hey everybody, my name's Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services. If you guys are like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming content. The true story of a national spiritual awakening in the early 1970s and its origins within a community of teenage hippies in Southern California. I like to be upfront with everybody when it comes to faith-based movies that I have reviewed before. I am not religious by any means. I grew up in a household where we didn't discuss Jesus or go to church at all, so I was never exposed to that as a child. And as an adult, I just never had any interest in going to church. So going into this movie, I knew it was a faith-based film, but I still was curious about this movie. I've seen the trailer several times in theaters. And I was interested in seeing this movie because it looked very heartwarming. I like the idea of two different groups of people coming together and finding something common amongst them. That idea behind it is what drew me into the film. You have this very typical church, the pastor there, and in the 70s we have the hippies. We meet Lonnie and he goes into the church and starts to spread the word of what is very common to him, and love and peace and everything that was going on in the 70s. And so we have Kelsey Grammer, who plays this pastor. They two start to form this relationship, and Kelsey Grammer starts to let Lonnie come into his church, and they have music, and it brings in a whole bunch of people just spreading the word of Jesus, love, and peace. I like the story of Lonnie and Chuck Smith, played by Kelsey Grammer. This is based on a true story, and I do think that it plays the biopic part very well, having the characters meet, establishing who they are, the differences between the two, and then eventually the two coming together to spread that word, and how big they ended up coming in the 1970s. I like the biopic aspect to it, as we get to learn these characters and the movement that they did start. And the actors in here did a pretty good job in here. Kelsey Grammer does a great job as Chuck Smith, very stern and very questioning to the hippies, and very hesitant at times as well. And the actor who plays Lonnie, very welcoming, very heartwarming performance. I really liked Lonnie in here and what he represented and how he was able to see people in different ways, and I love how they built this character throughout the film. Now going into it, I knew that it would be a lot of preaching and discussion around Jesus. I'm not going to watch this film and think every time that they start preaching or there's word of Jesus that I'm going to have to turn it off. That's not me by any means. So watching it, I did enjoy watching the two come together, even if it was discussing Jesus and the gospel and preaching and all of that. We have several characters in here that are not part of the church. They're all about peace and love, and they take drugs. And once they meet Lonnie, immediately they are changed. And that's just the effect that Lonnie has on people. But the way that they transition, it's rather than an event that happens to them and drastic moments in their life, it's just preaching that kind of changes them. And so rather than having moments where their lives are affected and they want to have a different change of heart, it's more of preaching to the characters and having that be the change for them. It's just preaching to the characters, and that's what's changing them. Another thing that I kind of found off with this film is that quick transition for Kelsey Grammer. Once he meets Lonnie, he's immediately hesitant and doesn't know how to kind of approach this person. But it's really quick within the film that he lets Lonnie into his church, everybody within his house. They have live band and everything, and he's very happy about it. I think it would have been more impactful if they would have drawn that out. See the struggles between the two, and then come to a common understanding. I think it would have been more impactful if they would have had it later on in the film. But the way that Kelsey Grammer really has this change of heart pretty quickly in the film, you were able to see that development for that relationship. And I think that's one of the weaker points of the film, is I was really interested to see how the two would come together and form that relationship, because I was really interested on that based off the trailer, and it came pretty early on in the film. And then once we got that established, I feel like Kelsey Grammer really took a step back in this film and is really focused on Lonnie. And once he became more popular, his ego came into way. And I was surprised with how they touched upon that as well. The film isn't going to be perfect for these characters, and it's going to really test them, and I appreciated that about this film. This is one of the best looking faith-based films that I have seen. I haven't seen like all of the big ones, but I have seen a good film. I've seen a good amount of films. This is the one that looks the best to me. The cinematography looks really good. The soundtrack is great. The way that the film is presented in the 70s, the costume designs, everything about it just looks really good. I was impressed with how beautiful this film was. So going into a faith-based film, there wasn't going to be a lot that I could relate to. Like I said, I'm not religious by any means, and I'm not going to watch this movie and be changed by everything. I wanted to see the film for how heartwarming it did look, and the people within this film and the relationships, and coming to a common understanding and accepting people for who they are. That's what drew me into this film. That was really great within this film. Some of the characters, you know, they had this change of heart pretty quickly, and I think they really could have drawn things out within the film to kind of have more impactful moments throughout. But nonetheless, I did like Jesus Revolution. Yes, it is heavy on preaching and the word of Jesus and peace and love and all of that. If you go to church every Sunday, I do think that you will enjoy this film. I'm not atheist, I'm not religious by any means, but I did enjoy this film for what it offered. I liked it. It was a film that was worth watching for me, and I did find some enjoyment within it. So before I give you my score for Jesus Revolution, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer actions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie related content that you see on YouTube. I do it out here, so hit that subscribe button to get it all in one spot. And if you'd like to see where Jesus Revolution ranks amongst all the other 2023 releases I've seen this year, follow me on Letterboxd, and there you can find my ranking. I'm going to go ahead and give Jesus Revolution a B-. Thank you guys for checking my review for Jesus Revolution, the new faith-based film. Have you guys seen it by chance? What do you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up-and-coming content like this. My name is Justin Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.